business stories, the federal government has budgeted 1.2 trillion naira to service the loans it got from the Central Bank of Nigeria through the Ways and Means Advances. Ways and Means Advances is a loan facility used by the central bank to finance government in period of temporary budget shortfalls. According to 2023 fiscal framework documents, the government has allocated 6.3 trillion naira to service its total debt, making it the first time the federal government is making a budgetary allocation for Ways and Means. A breakdown of the financial spending plan shows that about 3.3 trillion naira have been allocated to service domestic debt, 1.81 trillion naira for foreign debt, and 1.2 trillion naira for Ways and Means. The World Bank had in November 2021 warned the Nigerian government against financing deficits, the borrowings from the CBN through Ways and Means advances, saying this has put fiscal pressure on the country's expenditure. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Mr. Mohammed Abubakar, says Nigeria earns $250 million from cashew nut exports for the year 2022. Speaking at an event in Benin, the minister, who was represented by the ministry's permanent secretary, Mr. Ernest Umahige, noted that cashew export is expected to fetch Nigerian farmers about $500 million in 2023. He, however, expressed displeasure that out of the 250,000 metric tons of cashew nut produced in Nigeria yearly, only about 10% was being processed locally. The minister further advised farmers to continue working together in harmony with governments and relevant stakeholders in promoting sustainable development in the cashew industry, in ensuring its contribution in achieving the overall goal of the current administration, which is economic diversification. In its continued efforts aimed at promoting bilateral trade between United Kingdom and Nigeria amid an abating global geopolitical war between Russia and Ukraine, the United Kingdom's government has announced a reduction in tariffs on duty-free trades in goods exported from Nigeria. Deputy British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Bren Larwin Jones, speaking at the launch of a developing countries trading scheme in Lagos, explains that the move, which will take effect from April 2023, will boost Nigeria's non-oil export trade as trade volume between UK and Nigeria hits £2.2 billion in 2022. He adds that the development will reduce import costs to the sum of £750 million per year for the British consumer, hereby enabling the growth of non-oil export-based jobs in Nigeria. Meanwhile, the senior commercial agricultural advisor, Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, Mr. Samuel Calvert, noted that Nigeria does not require international conventions to enjoy the benefits of the developing countries' trading scheme. Industry players in Nigeria's knowledge space to converge on Lagos for the inauguration of the Knowledge Digest Africa have advised young professionals and business leaders to take advantage of technological innovations in order to make themselves globally competitive and relevant in ever-changing business world. TVC News business correspondent Blessed Omonose has more.
Nigeria's rising unemployment rate and the dearth of employability skills amongst young graduates have continued to elicit worries among relevant stakeholders in the country's knowledge industry.
Pay attention to educate and empower.
These experts, while speaking at the official inauguration of the Knowledge Digest African project, a digital platform aimed at educating and empowering young African career professionals and business leaders with up-to-date tech skills, attribute the future of learning through ICT.
Not that there are no jobs in different parts of the world, especially in African countries. There are, but there are no right fix of people who can take on the job. So what we have done is to collaborate with tech companies, collaborate with different institutions, different organizations, look for a way to begin to think about how do we empower people using the NYSC scheme.
The issue is not really about unemployment. It's because a lot of young people are unemployable. They are unemployable because they don't have the knowledge, the skills, and the requisite attitude to give them the job that they are looking for. So with a platform like this, it presents millions of young people across Africa the opportunity to learn, to equip themselves, to grow, so that they become employable, so they become magnets to job opportunities.
Are in the mentorship space that are doing.
They also highlighted the importance of technological innovation towards building sustainable businesses in 2023.
There's going to be a lot of innovations that would solve critical problems in the society, right? Two, there's going to be a lot of huge knowledge transformation that people begin to be well informed to make decisions, because there are many platforms that will be available for people to learn at a go without needing to spend much, without needing to leave the comfort of their home, but beginning to learn from wherever they are and then get global certification that can give them access to international market.
If you cannot power yourself with tech, very soon you'll be extinct. And that's where technology is going now. Look at what they're doing with AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. We're far away, we're behind. And so if you're not selling with tech, managing with tech, recruiting with tech, making money with tech, if you're not doing anything with tech, then you're not in business.
While Nigeria is still making efforts to encourage technical and vocational training as part of steps to tackle unemployment, the need to integrate entrepreneurial and digital skills into our educational system cannot be overemphasized. Blessed Omonose, TVC News, Lagos.
Asians equities rose to a fresh 7-month high today, with Hong Kong shares playing catch-up to other markets gaining as trade resumed after the 3-day Lunar New Year holidays. Now, MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares outside of Japan climbed 0.56%. Hong Kong Hang Seng was 1.6% higher, while Japan's Nikkei recorded 0.25% lower. Trading activities was thin in Australia as markets in some parts of Asia closed for the holidays, including China. Traders are betting that U.S. Fed will soon turn down its aggressive rates hike policy after the Bank of Canada on Wednesday became the first major central bank to say it would likely hold off on further increases for now to allow for stability in market performance. Sri Lanka, a country of 22 million people, are facing its worst economic crisis in 7 decades. And according to them, the foreign ministry is said in its comments to Reuters that India wrote to IMF earlier this month saying it would commit its support to Sri Lanka with financial and debt relief. But the island nation also needs a backing of China in order to reach a final agreement with a global lender. China's Export-Import Bank of China has provided debt extension to Sri Lanka amidst growing economic downturns in the country. According to China's foreign ministry, Exim has offered Sri Lanka a 2-year moratorium on its debt and promised to support the country's efforts to secure $2.9 billion loan from the International Monetary Fund. Well, moving away from that now, wrapping up business news. Now, let's tell you before we go that electric vehicle maker Tesla records $24.3 billion revenue in the fourth quarter of 2022 as shares rose more than 5%. According to reports, Tesla recorded $24.32 billion revenue compared to $17.72 billion revenue recorded in 2021, with earnings of $1.19 per share compared to $2.52 per share adjusted for an August 2022 stock split. Despite a cut in prices on its cars around the world, the company's income surges as automotive company recorded a growth of $21.3 billion, while gross margins came in at 25.9%, the lowest figure in the last 5 quarters, with operating cash flows slowing down by 29% last year. Well, our crude oil prices were steady today after U.S. crude stocks climbed less than expected, while investors await further clarity on supply drivers, including an OPEC Plus meeting and the looming EU ban on Russian refined products. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude rose to sell at $81.02 per barrel, with an uptick of 1.09%. Brent crude futures also experienced an upward price review of 1.05% to sell at $87.02 per barrel or 91 cents per barrel, with a price decline of 0.26%, whereas Bonnie Light selling at $86.91. But for the OPEC basket, crude oil dealers are offering $84.80, with a downward price review of 0.76%.